Hello everyone and welcome. This is Cherie with Rehashfiber. Today I've got a great scarf we're going to talk about, and then towards the end of the show I have some more fiber information for you. We're going to talk about Sophie Scarf by Petite Knit. It is a great pattern. And the whole world thinks so. I have seen it all over Instagram. I've seen people wearing it. I saw it in a display at a yarn store in California, so it's out there. There is a reason why it is so good. And there's a few reasons why. One is that it's very doable. It's not real big. You can get it done in a shorter amount of time than some other projects. It's flexible. They have it listed at 2 sizes, small and large, so that you can make a bigger wraparound scarf or a shorter, littler one like this. The pattern calls for a US 4 size knitting needle and the yarn to go with that. However, you can adjust that. This was my own hand spun camel silk and it came out a little bit thicker, so I used a size 6 knitting needle and I just have a thicker scarf, but it's great and it's so soft. What else is awesome is that you can adjust the pattern for the amount of yarn that you have. So if you watched the first episode of this year when I talked about the Rehashfiber Use the Stash Challenge, this is one of the patterns that I offered up for that. I wanted to give everybody a bunch of ideas. And the reason I like this is that if you've got a cake or a skein of yarn that you want to use up and you just weigh it, the first half of the pattern, you're doing a gradual increase. Then when you've used up half the weight of your yarn, you decrease until you're finished. And the only tip that I have for you is that for me with this hand spun, that didn't quite work out for me. There must have been variances in my weight. So the halfway point didn't work for me. I ran out, so I just had to backtrack. I didn't quite use up half of the weight, so I left a variance in there, so I knew I would have enough left to finish. So the second time I finished with a little extra. All that mattered is that I have enough to finish. So that's how it worked out for me with my hand spun. So here I want you to take a little bit closer look at it. I would say this is a perfect pattern for beginner or intermediate. The I-cord's not hard once you start doing it, and then it's garter stitch the whole way. And then I was playing around with it and I found my 3 favorite ways to wear it. So I think it is just a great project to do. And props to the designer. Her pictures were fantastic. They were very enticing for everyone. They looked beautiful and it makes you want to do the project. So good job with those. All right, moving on. I have to talk about the pattern from last week's show. Last week was about Tunisian crochet and I talked about the Mary shawl. Then I got some messages, people saying it's no longer on Ravelry. So when I did the research myself, no, it is not there, and I am so sorry about that. I did message the designer to see if she would put it back on Ravelry or if there's another way we can get it so that you can use that. It's a super simple pattern, but it is hers, and I just need to check with her to see how we can get it to you guys. If you're dying to start your Tunisian crochet, then I ask that you please just research for another easy pattern. You can still use what tutorials I gave on how to do the simple stitch and the yarn overs, because it's worth knowing how to do and it's a whole lot of fun. So sorry that was not working out, but hopefully it does. So recently I was on a trip in Pasadena, California. It was not a fiber trip. However, fiber goes with me everywhere I go. And I'm always on the hunt for yarn shops or anything fiber. So when I put in yarn store nearest me, there is a lovely yarn shop in Pasadena called Wool House. It's an old town, it's in a beautiful area, and going through the doors, there's just yarn. There's a loft with more yarn and items up there. The store was buzzing with happy fiber artists, and the yarn quality is magnificent. So if you're in Pasadena, do check out the store. And you can plan on staying in that area for a little while because there's a lot of cool things to see. And you can have some lunch or dinner there too in that area. I've got to talk about the drop spindle. That of course came with me on the trip. We found a wonderful park called Hollywood Lake Park with the Hollywood sign. And I had a relaxing time spinning there. But what I want to get to, it's nice to have the spindle with you no matter what, because it can turn a bad time into a good time. We arrived at LAX. There were no rental cars available, but our best option was to wait for them to come available. So we had a bit of a wait. I used the drop spindle the whole time. I felt relaxed and happy. I felt good because I was making progress in making yarn. People were interested in what I was doing. I met some college guys from Taiwan and another young family who was curious, and I could tell them all about it and just keep spinning and having a good time. So I just want to tell you, if you're interested at all in doing it, I encourage you to learn. There are some great spindles from kclwoods.com. The shafts are removable so that you can just buy one whirl and a bunch of shafts and you can spin away. Great for traveling. And they're light. And then learn to do it and you will have joy in your bag with you all the time. So I will attach the how-to video at the end of this program. All right, I do have to talk about Patreon. I appreciate you guys. That is how creators get paid. I use it all to keep everything going here at the show. So if you're liking the show, go to rehashfiber.com, supporting members. You can sign up for $3, $5 a month. That makes a big difference for me because a little bit, it adds up, and I'm able to keep this going. Income for the show. It's very good. And I appreciate it more than you know, and I'm constantly thinking about ways I can thank the Patreon members. So thank you so much in advance if you're able to help out with this show. All right, everybody, I appreciate you being here. Happy knitting the Sophie Scarf, and thanks for watching.